the Jags dominate the Chargers, and then the Chargers dominate the Texans, and then the Texans beat the Jags in 3 weeks in a row.
Let's
It's like we live in three different universes over the course of 3 weeks. It makes no sense. So I love the parity of the NFL is awesome. The level of talent and like young talent in the NFL right now is awesome. There's a lot to be excited about in honestly across most of professional sports. It seems like we're at a tipping point where there's a lot of young talent and we're in a good spot for the future. But the NFL especially, which does not include Bailey Zappi, who Jacob is shortly going to talk about being the next Tom Brady. Let me this stat line. Let me read you this stat: 188 yards, one touchdown.
That's a Mac Jones stat line, though, Adam.
Let him finish. Let him finish before we educate.
I mean, listen, he was 17 for 21. I'll give him that. But your 17 passes went for 188 yards, and you canceled out your one touchdown with a pick. But they got to win. They got to win.
What?
Their defense held the Lions team that every single one of us claimed. Jacob, you were reading that ridiculous stat lineup from the Lions last week of how insane the Lions offense was, and then they just got shut out. Completely goose egg.
Oh, yeah. I'll talk about that as well. And, dude, but the funny thing is, like, we all bet on the Lions.
I know.
And, like, we had comments like, oh, dude, love the Lions picks. I'm definitely right on them. And I was like, oh, yeah, this feels like a no-brainer. The over on this game feels like a no-brainer. And then, of course.
Yeah.
It was maybe the worst game I've ever watched.
Yeah. But, yeah, so – and then I don't know if you guys heard the rumor that there might potentially be an entire NFL division in Europe. Have y'all heard this?
Oh,
I don't know the validity of this at all, but there's a possibility that they're going to put a division in Europe. What do you guys think about that?
And, okay, think about the implications of that. Okay, so I it's fresh on my mind because I was just in Europe. Yeah. That means when football is over, when Sunday Night Football ends, at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., we're getting NFL. It can just go the whole day.
Or we could have like we could have it like Saturday maybe, or like early Sunday. Like Adam, like we were talking, I think last week of like the 9 a.m. games are amazing because I don't want to wait till 12 anymore. I'm feeling a little selfish, a little greedy.
Yeah.
It's dude, I would love that. I think they said 2025 is allegedly the year it'll roll out. So like, dude, we're going to get NFL in London, Rome, Paris, and we're going to have the expanded college football playoff.
That's pretty sick.
It doesn't get better than that. It's going to be awesome.
It's massive. And you guys don't even know. Y'all don't even know the struggle of the East Coast with the time. The times is a big deal. When you're on the East Coast and Sunday night, Monday night football starts at 8:20 p.m. I go to bed at 9. I get 40 minutes of football on Sunday. It's brutal. And so a 9 a.m. game is just crucial for my well-being. But so that would be huge. I tell you what's not good for the Jeff Bezos bottom line, which we're generally big supporters of, is 2 Thursday night football, just absolute steamers in a row. So Thursday night
row, and they like. I remember like
it's so bad it's good.
It's not. It's absolutely. It's literal comedy. And they showed like the Bears are like debuting their new like all orange jerseys on Thursday night. I was like, don't do this, please. Don't do it. Don't debut them. I know it's going to be the worst game ever now. Like, I saw those jerseys and I went, oh, Lord.
It almost seems like Thursday night is just experiment night across the board in the NFL. Like, what can we try here that we're not ready to unveil on Sunday, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what reaction.
So hopefully this week delivers.
Personally, I think Ryan Fitzpatrick does something to the QBs before the game. He must go break their arms or like yell at them or something because they've been awful. Like sometimes uncharacteristically.
I also think the matchups are just horrible.
I know.
Like, I know they don't purposely pick the worst matchups every year. It just ends up somehow like whatever they do when they're picking those teams, those will be the worst teams of the year. You can guarantee it. You can guarantee if you're playing on Thursday night, you're bad. Yeah. It's over. Or you're going to get a horrible game. Like, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, which is so frustrating because we need that model to work in order to get our universal NFL streaming to happen.
I still watch it, man.
I know.
I still like. I'm just sitting there like, oh, they have me, man. They've got me.
So you think Zaddy Bezos is going to buy all the NFL?
We need that to happen.
Yeah,
we need that.
And so we can't have him losing money on advertising on terrible Thursday night.
You're right.
We need this to work because. So Mike had told us that NFL app worked.
Nope.
Oh boy,
that was bad.
It does after the games, which isn't great. I don't mean that. I'm trying to. Once the game's over, I'm not watching. I'll watch highlights.
Just going back and watching a full game after.
I'm not watching film. I'm not Tom Brady. I'm not doing that.
No.
You're not in the film room.
No, dude. And then
I will admit I did that on the flight back.
you
I
were
downloaded a
deprived.
bunch of games.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I was deprived. Yeah.
You're just like, I need.
You need that fix, so I think we can excuse that one.
Yeah,
that one's good.
Yeah. All right, but my bets this week, I like the consensus AFC favorites, the Jacksonville Jaguars, money line at Indianapolis. It's plus 110. I think the Jagsy is going to come back alive. Matt Ryan is shaky as always. Jagsy comes back alive. Defensive Josh Allen, not offensive Josh Allen, eats Matt Ryan alive. Sure. And I like the Jags money line, and then I like Pat's money line, not because of Bailey Zappi. Bailey Zappi sucks, but
I don't think he's I think Mac Jones is back. So
okay, perfect.
You got your wish.
He's just as bad.
Mac Jones is terrible.
All right. Don't put me on my
Zappi.
Yeah,
we'll continue to talk about Bailey Zappi, but I like Pat's money line plus 120. They're playing the Browns, and I mean the Browns try as hard as they possibly can to lose games. So if they do that here, then they're going to lose as well. And then New England has only lost, so they've lost 3 games, but they've only lost to the Dolphins, the Ravens, and the Packers. And it was the Dolphins when they were strong, when they were all healthy, and then the Ravens and the Packers have been up and down. They were in one of their hots. So I don't know, those teams are still yet to be decided on, but I think that those are 3 pretty quality losses, and I think that the Pats have a good chance against the Browns.
I like that. I'm down fading the Browns. As you know, we are anti-Browns on this pod. Not many. I don't think any other teams do we really not like.
We don't like the Patriots. I mean, I bet the Patriots, but we don't like the Patriots.
Yeah,
I like the Patriots as long as it's not Mac Jones.
Yeah, I'm not a Mac Jones guy, but
I'm a Mac Jones hater.
The Patriots, man. My first point is that Thursday night, just the words should give you PTSD. If you sat through that whole game and overtime, I felt like I aged 30 years watching that game.
No, if you sat through overtime, you need to seek professional.
I was like, I need to know what happens.
Oh.
I had to know.
Let it go.
Yeah, but I think so my kind of take about the whole Thursday night thing is I think it brought up this really weird kind of attack on Russell Wilson's as a person, which I thought was really strange. A lot of ad hominem attacks going on where they it felt like everyone was like, oh yeah, by the way, Russ is a bad guy and he sucks and I was like, where has this been for the past? The dude's been in the year for over 10 years now, right? So it felt kind of weird. It felt like they were just waiting for him to not do well so they could hate on him. I don't want to make the argument about he is a cringy dude, but it almost feels like I know he's big in his faith, and it kind of feels like I just feel like for some reason people find reasons to not Tim Tebow, for example, was. And again, I'm not trying to say people hate Christians or anything like that, but it does feel kind of like that kind of thing where I think they think he virtue signals and all that stuff. I do think he's a good guy. I do think he's a little cringy, but I don't think it's fair for people to attack him and say he's super fake and he's bad after he had literally got injured, went back in. Who knows if it was a severe injury? I think it was a muscle, shoulder problem or something like that. But yeah, so that's just I just felt like it was kind of unprecedented level of attack.
I think I'm with you just as far as I think people just even if they're just the quote unquote good guy, I think it's just fun to bash the good quote unquote good guy
for sure
all across the board for whatever reason.
Yeah,
I don't know. It could be the fact that he probably doesn't partake in some of the nonsense, and maybe he doesn't really have to partake in the nonsense to get the exposure that he's gotten. He's just kind of gotten it off his own merit and good play at the quarterback position. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I thought that he's not my favorite quarterback, whatever. But as a person, man, I think the off the field stuff
for sure.
Leave it off the field.
Yeah.
So. I agree. There's no place for ad hominem attacks, but at the same time, that Subway commercial is haunting.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
It is spooky. It's inside the mind of a serial killer.
Jeffrey Dahmer level.
Because here's the thing, man. Nathaniel Hackett might be a good guy too. doesn't mean he's not a freaking weirdo.
Yeah.
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 like,
Yeah, man, they got too many weirdos on that
it's
team
just
for sure.
weirdos. Nothing wrong. I'm not saying they're bad people. They're just
Something's up,
weird.
man.
Oh, I love it.
Unsettling.
I love it.
It is very, very bad.
Unsettling. That's a great word. For
One of my friends she lives in Denver. She's from Denver. She's a big Broncos fan. She hadn't seen the video, and I sent it to her, and she was like, "That was the worst thing I've ever seen."
Why did they let him record
I don't
that?
think she's gonna go to the games anymore. Like I almost was like, "You have to have seen this, right?" She was like, "No." I was like, "Okay, well, you're never gonna see Russ the same ever again."
Yeah.
Dude, I'm such a Russ defender too. Like, it's hard, man. That's undefendable. He must be corny now. It's so tough. It's tough, man. I mean, like, you marry Sarah, you think you're not going to become corny, but it appears so.
Hey, man.
Just happens.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. To Adam's point, if there's a European division, the UK fans are already so good. I don't know if you guys saw the chants that like the Giants fans had. The
Yes.
English Giants fan is like, shove that effing cheese up your ass. It was, dude, it's awesome though. Like, it was like they already made chants. They already have better chants than us, and it's like I'm so excited to see them have their own club, and like it's cool. But it is weird because like they have affinity. Like, there's a lot of people who have strong affinities for teams over there, so it'll be interesting. Like, when you go over there, dude, people will just talk your ear off about NFL. I'm sure Andrew had a similar situation.
Yeah.
I met the
my
Scottish
flight
dude.
back.
Yeah, dude. I met a Scottish dude
All
who loved.
Packers fans.
Yeah, all Packers fans.
All Packers
Yeah.
fans. It was
Yeah,
wild.
I'm
It made no
telling you.
sense.
And like there was a lot of I know a lot of English who are Giants fans for some reason. I don't know. I met a lot of Bears fans, and I met this one dude from Scotland who was a huge Colts fan, and he was talking to me about Peyton Manning for like 12 hours. And I was just listening, like, all right, dude. All
I
right.
was gonna say, I feel like the more like traditional foundational, quote unquote, foundational teams, Giants, Jets. I mean,
Especially for them.
Giants,
I mean, they love
Giants,
history, so
Packers,
like,
I feel like it just kind of falls in line with everything.
for sure.
They got going
The teams
on.
with history, I feel like, are definitely easy to cheer for.
Yeah, no doubt.
My good friend Colin, who lives in London, he's a Texans fan now because I was like, this is my club, so like we share Tottenham, which is the EPL team, and so I was like, okay, well, we can share the Texans too, and
There you go.
so he's got a Texans shirt. People are probably like, no clue who they are.
Love that.
But it's cool. Like, you're not supporting a bandwagon team. I was like, we're pretty much like Spurs. Like, we'll make it to the divisional championship and then we'll lose in a heartbreaking fashion or something. But yeah. So I'm really, really excited for the European division, especially in London. I think it's gonna be awesome. I also had in my notes about that Lions game, man. Like, dude, talk about Jared Goff and the Lions offense just crashing down to earth. They went from the highest scoring offense in football and obviously the worst defense and the best offense. So they were losing to allowing a 29-0 game.
Mm-hmm.
That, dude, I can't fathom it. I don't know what happened. I turned it off pretty quick because I didn't want to watch it. But yeah, man, like Jared Goff had a horrible, horrible game. The whole team just looked horrible. Like, it was bad, man. Like most rushing yards was like 56 yards that was the leading rusher for the Lions was 56 yards. So horrible game. I don't know what happened. But I will say Bailey Zappi looked pretty good to me. Also, before you
What the dog doing?
but tell me a rookie quarterback who's looked better than him, and then I'll hear you out.
No, that's a valid point. That's a valid point. No.
That's all I have to say. I mean, he looked good. I'm just saying, as a rookie, I think he looked really good, dude. If you don't remember Mac Jones now, and as a rookie, bro, he only throws 5 yards max. He doesn't throw down the field at all. Zappi can throw the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my only thing. I think Zappi's a way better prospect. He didn't have NFL receivers in college. He still led the NCAA in yards. So I'm just saying he's a baller. I'm telling you, in 5 years, the Patriots are going to be. They just three-peated. And you're going to be like, Zappi, no. And Andrew and I be like, we told you.
Dude, I just have to continue to believe
I-
it's just not going to happen because it will hurt me to a deeper degree emotionally than I can even bear.
I think this is my favorite take Jacob's ever had. We agree on a lot of takes, but like completely agree. And as someone who just like loved watching Zappi in college, it's so validating just seeing him start an NFL
I'm
game.
telling you, and like I think there should be some. I'm telling you, man, Mac Jones is going to come and stink it up,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be like, "Wow, if only we had a guy on the bench who could throw the ball past 10 yards."
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm just saying, in defense of him, he's a rookie. It was his first full game, and he almost won the first game in overtime as a rookie in like their first game since Mahomes, his last game. So I don't know. I'm not saying Mahomes is good, but I won't admit that yet. He's getting there though.
I think Mahomes might have
He's
thrown
getting
for
there.
more than 188 yards in his first full game.
We'll see. We'll see.
Who's Mahomes?
Yeah, he's
Never heard
already better
there.
than Mahomes. So, yeah. Then I got some Dameon Pierce, some crazy Dameon Pierce
That's
stats.
what we love to do. That's what we like here.
So he has 313 rushing yards. 301 of those are after contact.
Oh my
Dog.
That's all the yards.
Dog.
That's all of them. He had-
Oh,
What the dog
He
doing?
is that. He is a dog. He doesn't have the dog in them. He is a dog. He broke 17 tackles against the Jaguars, which is the most they've ever recorded. Like pre-recording, maybe there was more. That was the most ever recorded in the
Are
game.
you serious?
wow.
Yes,
That's a
ever
real
recorded.
stat.
Yeah.
That's the most tackles
Yeah.
ever broken in an NFL game recorded by. Holy cow!
Yeah.
Nobody will
I feel
talk
like
about
Debo
it.
did
Zero
that like
people will
one
talk
time
about it.
a couple of weeks ago.
Nope, the anti-Texans
I'm
agenda.
telling you, man, they won't tell you. They
Disney.
won't. They don't want you to know that Jalen Petrie and Stingley are generational.
I know.
one.
I'm
And
excited
two,
for
they don't
2
want you
points
to know.
down. We're going to talk about more. Like,
Dude, I was listening to the radio, Big Disney, of course, and they were talking about how Sauce Gardner and Brees Hall are the best rookies.
The Sauce Gardner agenda is so
I know.
dumb.
Dude,
and
Oh,
Brees
man.
Hall has
I'm
one
like-
game, and everyone's like, "Oh, Brees Hall." Damian Pierce been doing this all season.
that I wish they had your brain cells, man. They don't. Yeah, I think Dameon Pierce is the steal of the draft. Everyone was whining when the Texans took Petrie and they couldn't get Brees Hall, and then we got Pierce, which is insane. If you think about it, like we missed on Hall, everyone was like, "Dang, that was the guy." We missed on the running back this year, boo-hoo. And then we get Pierce, insane. Like there's no better draft than Texans drafted. Like we said it last week, it's going to keep getting better. I think he should be Rookie of the Year. We'll see though how things shake out. If Brees Hall has 2 more yards, I'll probably just give it to him. So, which is wild that the Jets get more media hype than the Texans. That just shows you the state of it, really.
I'm telling you, man, it's the historic
It's the state,
NFL.
dude. It's the
like,
state.
It's just
Yeah.
it's New York, man. Like
Yeah.
it's
It's
New
seniority,
York.
man.
Yeah, dude.
It's
And then-
seniority.
Speaking about the Texans, though, since Adam brought up the Mechie thing, I've seen 30 ads of him.
I have.
And I do think it's because it's Cancer Awareness Month or Cancer
Still,
Week. But
though,
it is interesting.
It
that,
is
like
a
Adam,
really good story.
they listened to
though.
you, and then they were like, "Oh, we should actually."
Yeah, like,
I
oh, we got a
feel
second
like
round
we're-
draft pick receiver who's battling leukemia right now. We just haven't talked
Yeah,
about
you
it
think?
one time.
You think?
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they're doing that. I mean, I can't wait to see him. It's an awesome story. He still should be talked about more.
Absolutely.
They don't talk about him enough.
Mhm.
Would you?
And then also more Texans propaganda. D'Amico Ryans, one of my favorite middle linebackers of all time, does not get talked about at all, dude. He is maybe the best DC in the league. He's so smart with his schemes. He's going to be an amazing head coach. He might be the Texans' next head coach after Lovey. I'm not saying Lovey should go. I like him.
Mhm.
But I think he could be the next guy up. Dude, young guy, African-American dude, defensive-minded. Like, he checks all the boxes of, like, what the league should want a head coach to be, and he doesn't get talked about at all. But, yeah, man.
Well, and he's also like the first Texans,
Yep.
like maybe like the first player I was like a fan of.
Mhm.
So if he became head coach, it would be like this full circle. Like I'm old as
100%.
shit now. Like
I was kind of hoping we'd give him the nod this year, but, we got
Me
them.
too.
We got them.
I like Lovey though.
Lovey is
I like the
is a
idea of
cool
maybe
dude.
keeping Lovey on as like a, you know how they'll keep guys on as like, what is Bruce Arians this year? What is his role?
Oh, dude, he's not even.
He's
He's
like
like
a
an
consultant.
analyst. He's
Yeah.
like acting.
Yeah.
He's still a head
Yeah,
coach.
because they're like
He's still a head
consultant or something
Yeah.
like that. Like, yeah,
It's like Gary Patterson at UT is the assistant to the head coach or whatever. He's not a coach.
Nah, bro.
He's the
He's
assistant
literally
to
the head coach, basically.
He's Sarkeesian's water boy.
he's just Dwight Schrute.
Yep.
Yeah, he is, bro. Yeah, and then I watched a ton of football, but Cowboys are legit. The Cowboys are legit.
They're what now?
The Cowboys are legit.
All right.
But here's my caveat. I don't think you believe this, so I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Cooper Rush. The idea that Cooper Rush is even comparable to Dak is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Let me read you some good old Rush stats for you. 102 yards, 10 completions all game. They only threw the ball 16 times. And he had a QBR of 16.6.
It's like a Bailey Zappi type line right there.
Exactly, but the difference is one of them is getting touted as actually good and winning games. So like this thing of this whole idea that he is winning them games is farcical.
Their defense is unbelievable. Their defense is playing out of their minds.
He's AJ McCarron.
Exactly, but it's like you don't if you have but I do think you guys are in a prisoner's dilemma right now where if you play Rush and he wins against the Eagles, everyone's going to be like he has to keep starting, and then you're not going to win the Super Bowl, right? I think if you play Dak too early and you lose, people are going to be calling for his head, right?
Yes, and I actually just had this conversation via text with one of my best friend, my brothers, Leonard. Shout out to Leonard if you're listening. I firmly believe that let Cooper Rush play until Dak Prescott is healthy.
Yes,
right now, there are still talks that he cannot throw a football.
He can't even grip it.
If he cannot grip a football, that man should not be taking snaps in the NFL game. Despite what happens this weekend between the Cowboys and the Eagles, if Rush wins, great. If Rush loses, I don't think he was really expected to be the reason they win a football game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for those reasons alone, man, you as an NFL coach or a coordinator or whatever, you put your best 11 on the field at all times.
For sure.
If you have a healthy Dak Prescott, he's a part of your best 11.
Yeah.
Well, as a Cowboys hater, my dream scenario, Cooper Rush just keeps winning, undefeated in the playoffs. First round of the playoffs, Dak says, I'm healthy, I can throw. Comes in, first round exit, like always.
No, dude.
And then they're in the Super
I
Bowl.
like Dak, so I don't want him to I'm fine if the Cowboys burn. I don't want Dak to go.
But then they release Dak, and then the Texans pick him up.
Dude, See, dude, the move is actually
because the Cowboys don't understand their QBs.
Yeah. No, they don't.
Ever.
I think Rush gets to play in the playoffs, has like 8 interceptions, and then Dak's like, I'm leaving because you guys did me dirty. Comes to the Texans, and then they win the Super Bowl next year.
And then they win the Super Bowl. And I'm sick to my stomach.
So I'm not saying that obviously to harp on Rush. I think he is doing amazing. But he's a backup quarterback, and also
he's doing his job.
This should just show you how scared the league should be if Dak comes back healthy. Because if you guys can keep the play calling like this, they finally realized Pollard is good, which is astounding to me.
Mm-hmm.
Zeke doesn't have to be injured for them to play Pollard. Ooh, crazy! Right. But you guys, it's terrifying, dude. But yeah, and talking about that though, I'm fully on the Philly bandwagon. I filed my my team. My bandwagon transfer form. It's getting processed right now. Coach Serrani's looking at it, so we'll see if it gets approved.
So is this green and black?
Yeah, dude. Well, I'll Photoshop this to an Eagles jersey. But yeah, dude. I love Hurts on and off the field. He gets better every week, dude. I don't know if you know this, but his whole management team is all women. He's all about empowering women and empowering women in sports. He's had these awesome quotes. He sends these awesome gifts to women in sports and tells them hey, I'm here, I'm rooting for you guys. Dude, he's a freaking ball. Everything he does, he's such a good guy. I remember his rookie year before he played, and I was his one fan. And Andrew was telling me he was going to be bad.
Not gonna be bad. He was so bad.
But yeah, so he would go to people's houses, surprise fans who were fans of him, and I remember being this guy's such a good freaking dude.
Yeah.
And to see him keep that up while he's at the top is awesome. So yeah. For my bets, let's see. Number one, I like Buffalo to score on their first drive against Kansas City. I know that's kind of a weird bet, but I'm digging it.
Okay.
Plus 120. I think first drives are usually scripted. I do think that Buffalo will score on their first drive. I just think Kansas City's defense is pretty good. I don't think they're that good, especially against the Raiders. They kind of looked shaky in the beginning, and they kind of settled into it. So yeah, I like that.
And that's just 3 points, right?
What's up?
That's just that's a field
just
goal
score.
too.
Yeah,
right?
anything.
Oh yeah.
So field goal, touchdown, plus 120 for Buffalo to score on the first drive. I really like that. And then I got to go with Degenerate America's team, the Atlanta Falcons. They're undefeated against the spread still. I bet on them every week. I'm going to keep betting on them until they don't cover, and then I might still keep betting on them. I like them plus 5.5. I also like the money line. The money line's a lower, a higher degree of risk, obviously. So we're going to just roll with the spread on that 5.5 against San Francisco. They're also debuting their new throwback jerseys. Andrew, could you put those on the screen just to get my point across that they're not losing this game? When you see these jerseys, Xavier, you're gonna look at them and you're gonna go.
Are they wearing like the old?
Oh, you'll see, brother. Let's see if Andrew can. If Andrew can, then that's great. If he can, then
Yeah, I got you.
oh heck yeah! Look at those.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
dude, they're not losing.
No,
Never lost.
No. Oh, are they really wearing these?
Yeah, dude, they're debuting these. Yeah,
that's sick.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I like it.
They're so clean. They're not losing. So
book it.
The helmet's clean. Look good, play good. I firmly believe it.
For sure.
Niners don't know what's happening. They can't. If the Niners do wear their throwbacks too, though, that could be like the nicest jersey matchup of all time.
For sure.
The white ones, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I would love that. That'd be sick. But yeah, dude. So those are my bets. Xavier, what you got, bud?
Yeah, so rolling into NFL this week for me, big takeaway, man, is NFL unders are hitting at a surprisingly high clip this year, especially in prime time. As of right now, unders are, I know, right? As of right now, NFL unders are 46, 32, and 1. Primetime unders are 11 and 4. And so, with the way the end of the game is played now, high points, a lot of yardage. I think part of it is maybe contributed to the short passing game being an extension of the run now. And, you're getting those quick passes out, clock is running, blah, blah, blah. I think that defenses are doing what they can do. Obviously, we saw, the two insane calls in both of those games this week.
Yeah.
And so, defensive players, they're really just kind of got their hands tied behind their backs in some cases. Yeah. But for the most part, they're holding their own.
For sure. Well, just to tag on to that point you make about the roughing the passer calls, you can bet right now, will they allow that to be reviewable next season?
Yes,
and it's plus 550 for yes.
I would go ahead and put. I'm gonna smash.
I'm gonna smash.
Yeah, I would put something on.
We could have bet on what was it, dude? Tom Brady and Giselle getting divorced at plus 4,000,
and we would have that really early,
and we missed that.
Really
so
early.
I'm not missing
this.
Us.
Yeah, better than this. Yeah, and so it kind of left me wondering, where is the game of football headed defensively? I actually saw a segment, and I can't remember off the top of my head who it was, but they were basically saying, could the NFL potentially get to where it's like practice, and in a live NFL game, if you get to the quarterback, is it possibly blown?
Nah.
I personally don't think it ever gets there, but it was a great conversation. It really was. And I know that, 3 weeks ago, we were protect the quarterback, protect the players.
Yeah.
And now after a couple of less than favorable calls, we're saying let them play ball.
Yeah, I think that is the duality of man, and also I think it's like I think the refs had those in the back, if not the front of their mind. Like I'm sure that came from the top. Like, hey, the Brady one against the Falcons was inexcusable, but I feel like I'm not saying it was a good call, but the Kansas City one, like he fell on the quarterback, or that is roughing the, like you can't do that. I'm not saying it was good. Like he can't stop him. He can't fly. He can't go like this. But they were bad, horrible calls. But I will say, I don't know where they go from here in the sense of, but I'd rather them err on the side of protecting the quarterback. I don't want them to get two-hand touch, but I think defensive linemen are never going to be on the cover of Madden, right? It's always going to be, it's a quarterback's game. They're not putting the defensive linemen like in the game promos. So I feel like that's just, they're always going to be there. They're always going to, be overprotective. It's not good though, not good for the sport. But I will say this might be hot. Might be a little spicy, but I think the Chiefs lose that game if that call isn't called.
Okay.
The fans from before they called that roughing the passer and after were not even on the same level. They were going berserk after they got that foul called, and I think the fans got super into it. And the team was like, I think the team rallied behind it. So obviously, there's no way to quantify that, but that's kind of I felt like when that happened, I was like, oh, dude, the fans are in this now. Like they messed up doing that because the fans they were going crazy. They were doing like "F you ref you suck," booing They booed for like 12 minutes, and that seems already super loud. So.
No, for sure. One of the loudest in the league every week. And I think that personally, I think it just comes down to, and I think that we are headed to where this is reviewed, like pass interference stuff like that. It's just the human error, man.
For sure.
It's such bang stuff that just to be able to make a definitive call on such a split second.
Yeah, especially when you can look up and go, oh, maybe that wasn't.
Yeah. So I agree with you
for sure. And there's egos too of like, and this happens in like football or like Premier League soccer where like the ref almost doesn't want to review it because then he's like, I'm wrong, and the guy in his ear telling him like. So we almost need that like eye in the sky to say like, hey, review that because
just review it.
There could be
take a look at it because we definitely don't want games being decided by calls like that
for sure.
Going forward. Mm-hmm. And to just roll into my picks real quick. So this is for Thursday night football. This is that dreaded Chicago-Washington game, and we're going to go to it and Chicago on the pick'em.
All right, dude.
And so the reasoning is
for me, just don't want to bet the Commanders.
I
don't. If you would have said Commanders, I would have been.
I never do. I'm not the Carson Wentz guy at all.
I've never been a Carson Wentz guy.
So for me, honestly, this is a perfect kick them while they're down spot for us to cash. Hopefully,
yeah.
After what Ron Rivera said about Carson Wentz this past week, I don't foresee any type of motivation to go out there and prove it to him. Or
who's their backup?
Stick it to him. I have no idea.
Andrew, you know their backup?
Is it not
I think it might still
Heineke?
be Taylor Heineke.
Is it really? Dude, Heineke is such a hooper. Like, I want
not bad. That's what I'm saying.
He gave Dallas fits last year.
He's been really good for them.
Yeah, I like him.
So anyway, going into that, I do believe that Ron Rivera obviously has no faith in Carson Wentz. By the way, it is wrong to call your quarterback out like that. There's 10 other guys on the team.
Yeah.
It's obviously not just.
Or just to say he could have said offense, right?
Yeah, I thought that was flag on the part of Ron Rivera, who's usually really good in those situations. So we're gonna go with Chicago at home. Hopefully, Justin Fields gets to throw more than 3 passes. And
did he only throw 3 passes?
No.
Oh, okay, I was like, bro, that would be crazy.
But they do not let that guy go.
Yeah.
And so we're going to take Chicago on the pick'em Thursday night, and then rolling into Sunday. I've got a 2-team teaser. We're going to buy 6 points here each way, and we're going to buy the Bengals down to plus 5.5 versus the Saints, and then we're also going to take the Seahawks up to 9 versus the Cardinals. These games are pretty interesting to me, honestly, if you kind of sit down and look at them on paper. Since he's obviously up and down, especially against the spread this year, they actually have a losing record against the number. And so for that reason, I do believe that, the extra 6 hopefully gives us a little bit of safety. I expect them to beat New Orleans outright.
Bro, you're forgetting about the man, the myth, Taysom Hill, though.
I am. So
I agree with you, though.
I expect Burrow just to come in and do what he does, put some points up on the board, and come out with the dub.
But, I like it. I believe.
But we're going to buy the 6, and we're going to play it down to plus 5.5.
I like it.
Rolling over to Seattle. So it's obvious that the Seahawks haven't fully committed to tanking just yet. Geno Smith is truly an enigma in my eyes.
Yeah.
And for the sheer sake of uncertainty, again, we're going to buy the 6 points here, take the Seahawks up to 9, and hopefully we can get these numbers to a comfortable margin and catch us a little teaser at minus 110.
Did anyone know when T. Higgins comes back? When does T. Higgins come back? Because I feel like I've been watching, and it might just be a perception thing, but it seems like Jamar Chase has been really, really, really quiet since T. Higgins went down. It's just like they've locked him up because he's the only threat, and it's been like crushing the Bengals offense. So I don't know. Like I think that might be a factor when the Bengals start to turn things around when T. Higgins comes back and they have 2 legitimate weapons. But yeah, so I like the Bengals are a better team than they've been playing thus far. So I think they're always a good bet if they're getting points.
That's a good call out.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew, take us on.
Yeah, and not a ton of NFL bets for me this week. I still gotta absorb football back into my system, considering I was gone for 2 weeks. And I got to watch a little, and I got to catch up a bit, but I want to just stay on the Seahawks topic and just let's smash whatever Geno Smith over we get.
Yeah, I love it.
Elite.
Because Geno
We've
Smith's
been calling it
incredible.
since week
He's
one.
an elite.
Geno Smith is elite.
Yeah, he is. It's funny, like if you switched him, like his name with Aaron Rodgers, or even like Russell Wilson, you switched their names, but you kept the stat lines. He's an MVP candidate. Like he's like he looked so incredible, even in the loss against.
Bro,
the
he
Saints.
was like
so
putting that in the pot,
No,
in
it
the
was
basket.
on.
Just
It
Lockett
was
also,
insane.
dude. Are we gonna? There's another thing with Russ as well. Like, who on the Broncos is better than DK and Lockett? I don't think they have. Like, Judy's a great
He's
receiver,
good.
but they lost Patrick, so like they don't have the weapons the Seahawks do, which is crazy to think about. Like, I think that's something people aren't factoring in as well. Is like Lockett is so underrated. He might be. He's one of the best wide receivers, and no one really talks about him.
He's a Hall of Famer, right? He must be.
Dude,
I mean, he's been so good for so long. It's
statistically,
been like 10
like
years now.
he's probably got a better career than most guys who will make it, but I don't know. I don't know how it works. So I don't know.
But anyway, Geno passing yards over. It's obviously not out yet. Honestly, I'll take some ridiculous numbers. Like if anything, give me like an alt number. Give me like 300 yards.
Yeah.
It's probably like plus 350. I'm
Do
taking.
you know what he threw
So-
last week?
Smash Geno. I feel like it's usually like 250
I'm
plus.
kind of curious. I'll look it up.
What do we want to know? What he threw last week?
Yeah,
Last week
Yeah.
at New Orleans, 268 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 139.7 passer rating.
easy. That's crazy.
Yeah. So if I'm assuming it's probably like 250, maybe less.
Yeah, I love that. I love that bet then. And
yeah,
he's
that's
been
fair.
consistently getting better and better. So his first game, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And then since the second week of the season, he's gone 325, 320, 268, all with 99 or better passer ratings.
Wow.
1 interception and 7 touchdowns in that span. Like,
Do y'all remember? This must have been in like 2012 or something when Geno Smith in college threw for like 700 yards and like 8 TDs against Baylor.
Yes.
The game was like 70 to 60.
Yeah, that was
I
like one
think.
of like the high. I don't know how there was a higher scoring game than that ever.
Yeah, no, Gino, that Stedman Bailey, Tavon Austin.
I was about to say
that
Tavon.
whole
Stedman
crew,
Bailey.
all that whole crew was so much fun to
It was
watch.
crazy,
man. Yeah.
Dude,
For
that's
sure.
insane. And then, he's a baller. He's always been just. We didn't see it.
Yeah.
Or wait, actually, no, he went to the Jets. That's why. I mean,
Yeah, no one. Yeah, that's unfair. It's
you
unfair.
cannot ball
for
out
the
of the
Jets.
Jets. I hate to say it,
Yeah.
man.
Put Zach Wilson on any other team, Hall of Fame.
Right, he's still. Dude, when he hit the gritty, I think last week I was
really
like,
smooth, man.
I was like, not bad.
Really smooth.
He's one of the few people that can do it.
He's-
I was like, all right, dude.
Will Hunter, Zach Wilson.
Yeah, for real, dude.
Man.
Hide your mom from Zach.
speaking of guys who like got their hot start ruined early, how heartbreaking is the Teddy Bridgewater injury?
Oh man,
Dude.
the Dolphins are
Just
just.
feel so bad
Teddy
for
Bridgewater.
Teddy B, for all the other players on that
man.
team, for Tua, just for everybody. Man.
The Dolphins organization. So speaking of Teddy Bridgewater, I would say, is this the football gods like getting
Dude,
back into
I-
the Dolphins as an organization?
I don't know.
Like,
Oh.
for what?
Yeah.
I mean, the
I was
tampering,
about to
the
say,
tanking,
for all the
the
tampering, the Brian Flores stuff.
Like, is this just the football gods just raining down?
Dude, it's crazy because like
Wow.
they were so good early, and now they're like.
I know.
It's really up in there.
And the worst part of it all is their QB is like their third string QB, Skylar Thompson. He wasn't even like a top 5 quarterback in the Big 12 the last like 3 years. So it's insane that he's playing.
Yeah,
right
he
now.
went to K State, right?
It's K State, and I think he was at TCU as
Look at
well.
them now. Look at K State without him. So
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, great. All right, so that's NFL. Fun week. I'm excited for this week too. Things from the bye week start rolling in, but
No.
All right, cool. Let's get into college football.